A score of around 20 to 40 points is your average role player. 40 to 60 is an above average player. 60 to 80 is around an all-star caliber player. 80 to 100 points is around an all-NBA season. And anything above 100 points.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, a lot of you in the comments have made me very aware that I am sleeping on Nikola Jokic this year, and I have. I've actually only watched a couple of Denver Nuggets games this year. I'm not gonna lie, and I've been missing quite a few of them. I've been a little excited to see Wemby's development, so I've been watching some Spurs games, been trying to catch some Suns games. But, I mean, Jokic has been the best player in the league for how many years now? Like, it's been a while, so it's not like I'm sleeping on him, like I'm not aware. But apparently he's having possibly the best season he's ever had. So that's why I'm watching this video today. It's called Nikola Jokic might be having the best season in NBA history. All right, so let's do it. Now, just to get it straight, I've never put out any kind of Jokic hate. I've never said a bad thing about the guy, but I do think it's about time I educate myself on just how good he's playing so far this year. And I think it might be a little bit of like MVP fatigue on my part, because I'm not expecting him to win the MVP simply because he's won it so many times recently. And I go back and I think about Jordan. And Jordan didn't get the MVP every single year, even though every single year he was the greatest player in the world, like hands down. If it was simply like who's the best player in the world, MJ would have won it. How many times? 6, 7, 8, 9, probably 10 times, I would say. And same with Jokic at this point. But anyways, enough blah, blah, blah. That's the premise. That's why we're watching this today, is because he's already blown my mind over the last couple of years. And let's see just how much better he is. This video is by Eddie Buckets. I'm going to link the original video down below in the description box like I always do. If you want to check out their channel, go for it. Good stuff over there. And everybody else, please leave this video a like if you really do think Joker's that great. Push this video out. All right, let's do this.
But one of the best players in the league. I mean, video game numbers tonight, that's absolutely disgusting what he did. 37 points, 18 rebounds, 15 assists. GA, when you're watching a guy like that play, you can't guard him.
Damn.
He closed out a little bit quicker.
He's looking lean, too.
He's getting lost it momentarily, gets it back behind the back to Gordon, who puts it in.
Yeah, I noticed even in the Olympics, in the off-season, he's looking really lean, which is dangerous. Because I think last year in the playoffs, he ran out of gas a little bit because they allowed a little more physicality than usual. Same with Luka. Those two guys ran out of steam. And, yeah, if Jokic is in prime shape, world better watch out.
Because the reigning MVP, he's averaging 29.7 points per game. That's a higher clip than both Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal's MVP seasons, right? It's also higher than any of Larry Bird's 3 years winning the award. Jokic is averaging...
Okay, to be fair, though, inflation when it comes to scoring.
11.7 assists a game. It's more than Steve Nash
that's
and
hardcore.
Russell Westbrook.
That, for a big guy, is hardcore. I'm not gonna chop that up to inflation. Maybe -1. That's still disgusting.
Their MVP seasons, should we just call him Mr. Clean? Because he has been cleaning the glass, flirting with almost 14 boards a night.
See, these are the kind of numbers I'm expecting. And in today's league, for a true great, you got so many shots going up, so there's no excuse for not getting rebounds. You got so many shots going up, so many more points, so there's no excuse for not getting more assists. And also, there's no excuse for not getting more points. This is what I've been looking for. Is somebody like this who actually has it make sense. The numbers should be up. We should be getting somebody with a 30-point triple-double average right now as an MVP. And I think we're about to get close.
Clearly the best player in the league. He's clearly having the best season of his career.
Oh my
No
God.
one on the planet.
Oh my God. Is he really that close? 29.7, 56% shooting, 56% from three, 13 rebounds. So he does have, okay. That's exactly what I was asking for.
The best player in the league. He's clearly having the best season of his career.
No one on the planet is a better basketball player than Nikola Jokic right now.
Agreed. Y'all were
Nikola
hating on
Jokic
him.
right now is sitting at the #1 spot in the
And what?
2025 NBA MVP leaderboard, averaging a ridiculous 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. He's in a completely different world compared to the next candidate up. Everyone thought Jokic was done winning MVPs. I mean, 3 of them in the last 4 years. There's no way he could be the
Hot take. I think he deserved it last time too. Or what was it? He won. Let me look at it again. Let me refresh.
I mean, 3 of them in the last 4
22,
years.
24. Yeah, he deserved it in 2023 as well, in my opinion. That's when Embiid got it because he cried, and then they felt bad for him, so they gave crying Embiid an MVP, and then he got knocked out of the playoffs right away. It's cool stuff. No, if it wasn't for voter fatigue, he'd be on 4 in a row, and he'd be working on 5 right now. Let's just be real. That's why I'm wondering, are they going to give it to him again this year if he keeps this up?
There's no way he could be the front runner for another one. Voter fatigue. Never mind. Nikola
Good
Jokic
Lord.
is launching himself into legendary, scratch that, generational company with this season. What Nikola Jokic is doing right now is simply unheard of.
He's insane.
Over the last 5 seasons, we've seen a lot of remarkable individual seasons occur in the NBA. Steph Curry averaged 32, 5, and 5, while shooting 40% from 3 on nearly 13 attempts from downtown. Giannis Antetokounmpo became the first NBA player ever to average...
I'm sorry. I gotta get that distracted. 13.1 rebounds? Steph? Dude, I don't remember him getting 13 rebounds that season. Am I tripping?
5 seasons, we've seen a lot of remarkable individual seasons occur in the NBA. Steph Curry averaged 32, 5, and 5.
32, 5, and 5. What is this? You got me with that one.
While shooting 40% from 3 on nearly 13 attempts from downtown, Giannis Antetokounmpo became the first NBA player ever to average 30 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists while shooting 60% from the field. Joel Embiid put scoring numbers that make Wilt Chamberlain look like a normal basketball player. Luka Doncic nearly averaged a 34-point triple-double while dragging the Mavericks to the NBA Finals in one of the most stacked Western Conferences ever. But what if
I thought he was going to win it last year, but there was like no buzz around him winning the MVP.
Told you the guy that won 4 of the last 5 MVPs wasn't even mentioned here? It takes a different type of basketball player to have numbers so good that voter fatigue doesn't really affect you, despite having some of the most ruthless MVP competition ever.
Yeah,
In 2017, Russell Westbrook had a stat line of 31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 10.4 assists, which was enough to win him the MVP that year. Despite Westbrook keeping nearly the same numbers for the next 3 to 4 years, he wasn't even close to winning the MVP. Steph Curry in 2016 led the league in scoring and steals combined, while shattering countless three-point records and leading the Warriors to the best regular season record ever. This won him the MVP, but despite Curry putting up near identical numbers and near team success, voter fatigue hit him like a truck. Giannis Antetokounmpo was...
And that's weird to me because when what you're putting out there leads to success, and in Steph's case, championships, I mean... You know, you should be able to win it more than once. Because doubts my vote against somebody like Embiid would be, well, it's not leading to any winning. And that was my argument against Luka prior to last year because they made it all the way to the finals. So now it is leading to winning. Giannis, well, he won the championship that year, and he was the finals MVP. And Joker's now won one, so we can't say it doesn't lead to winning. So I don't know. That's my only argument against Westbrook not winning it more than once, even though his stats were pretty much 1-to-1 for multiple seasons with that triple-double average. It's because it wasn't leading to winning. But I don't know. To defeat my own argument, why didn't Steph win more than one?
arguably the best scorer, rebounder, and defender in the league in 2020, while leading the Bucks to the best record in the league. Despite Giannis replicating and even improving his numbers, while still maintaining the Bucks' team success, voter fatigue hit him. Luka Doncic might be the first NBA star to hit voter fatigue while never actually winning the MVP award.
Good God. I mean, 33, 9, and 9. And the ridiculous types of shots he takes to average 49% is pretty sick.
But Nikola Jokic, it seems like voter fatigue simply doesn't exist for him. Is he really this good? Or what's going on?
He's pretty
the current
damn
MVP
good.
race has Nikola Jokic sitting at number 1.
Tatum at number 2. Interesting. In the midst of a bunch of hate that he's been getting this year. Undeservedly, too. 28, 8, and 5. I mean, the Celtics are whooping some ass, so.
And followed by Jason Tatum at number 2.
29, 11, 1.9. Yeah, no assist up there, so that's interesting.
Anthony Davis at number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo at number 4, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, Giannis won't be high up as long as the Bucks suck. And right now, the Bucks are terrible.
5. But I think Nikola Jokic is much better than these rankings say, despite him already being at number 1. Season score is a stat that puts how good an individual player's season was into a single number. Shout out to Jimmy High Roller for this idea. But our version of the season score is going to be slightly different than his. The way that season score is calculated is by adding up the average points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, and then adding up PER, win shares, box plus minus, and value over replacement. To give you guys some context about how good or bad a score is, a score of around 20 to 40 points is your average role player, 40 to 60 is an above average player, 60 to 80 is around an all-star caliber player, 80 to 100 points is around an all-NBA season, and anything above 100 points puts you on track to be inside of MVP talks. When we take a look at every season score MVP from 1974 all the way until 2025, the average MVP score is 110.97. So what about the MVP race this year? Well, coming in at 5th place, we have Karl Anthony Towns, surprising many people with a score of 95.6. At number 4, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a score of 101.4.
Yeah, I think Jimmy High Roller is going to have to change that equation based on the inflation. So actually, the equation can stay the same, but but the ratings have to change. You know, bump everything up by like 10. So like 110 could be an MVP potential season.
At number 3, we have Anthony Davis,
or maybe
who's putting up his
105.
best season yet with a score of 102.2. At number 2 is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Nope, I was right with 110. Okay.
Also having his best season yet, averaging 32 points, 12 rebounds, putting up a score of 113.7. But in a league of his own, Nikola Jokic sits at the top of the mountain with a score of 133.2. But how does Jokic's 2024 and 2025 campaign compare to the other legends' best seasons? Is Jokic really this good? Right here, we have the top 50 regular seasons since 1974, or the birth of most advanced stats we use today. Towards the left and bottom of this chart, we have several of the late 70s Kareem years along with Julius Erving. Michael Jordan completely dominates the 90s.
To do this in a stage where they were scoring 90-something points a game, God, it hits a lot harder than when they're scoring 130, 140 points like they are now.
Forming the greatest seasons ever, having 8 individual seasons on here.
Mr.
David
Robinson
and Shaq make multiple appearances. Towards the late 2000s and early 2010s, we start to see the king, LeBron James here. We then see KD and Harden multiple times. Finally, to end the chart, we have a lot of Giannis and Jokic. But then we go up and see Nikola Jokic's 2025 season, a campaign that no one from NBA history has been able to match since 1974. Nikola Jokic is...
I mean, let's just be fair, though.
No one from NBA.
That's more impressive. As crazy as it is. What year was this? 88? 88? Yeah. Go figure, MJ. He's freaking psycho. Yeah, that's just more impressive because, I mean, all the statistics were lower based on, you know, less scoring. So less shots, less opportunity for rebounds, less scoring, less opportunity for assists. That's incredible. Not to take anything away from this. Compared to his competition, this is godlike. but MJ was also godlike compared to his competition. It was just a different era.
History has been able to match since 1974. Nikola Jokic is on another planet this season. No one in the league is really close to him right now. As of the current day, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been the second best player in the NBA this season, according to season score at 113.7. Nikola Jokic has a 19.5 point gap between him and the Greek Freak. Mind you, the gap between Giannis and Anthony Davis, the third best player, is only 11.5. Throughout NBA history, there's only been 5 other single seasons where there's been a larger gap between the first and second best player in the league. That being LeBron James compared to Kevin Durant in 2010 with a 20.1 point gap, Michael Jordan compared to Magic Johnson in 1989 with a 20.4 point gap,
Wow.
Shaq compared to Karl Malone in 2000 with a 20.5 point gap, Michael Jordan again in 1988 compared to Larry Bird at 22.2 points, and the widest margin between the first and second best player, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1977 compared to Julius Erving, sitting at a near 25
76.
point gap between him. But I have an even better way of looking
76. He was still with the Bucks, yeah.
at the dominance of Jokic.
Right.
How
Yeah.
about, instead of just looking at outlier seasons, we take a look at which legend had the best peak? Which legend could consistently deliver over a long period of games? So I went and found the season scores of every NBA
Interesting.
legend's best consecutive 5-year stretch in the league, and it looks a little bit like this. Starting at the bottom of this chart, we have Kareem from 1970.
I'm just guessing. It's going to be MJ and Jokic, right? Who else had a 5-year stretch anywhere near this?
4 to 78. Although his actual prime was probably earlier with the Bucks, we don't have those advanced stats. Dr. J shows up as well. Moses Malone from 79 to 83 is on here, along with Larry Bird from 1984 to 88.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is simply in a league of his own, with a peak score of 123.82 from 1987 to 1991, along with many of his other peers from that era, like Magic, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone.
It's why I don't understand why Dave Robinson gets so little respect. Anytime we see a chart like this, he's right up there. I don't know if it's just because, later on in his career he got injured. It was kind of a shortened career because of it. Maybe it's that, but I saw him from a rookie all the way to the end, and man, the Admiral was no joke.
Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson. Moving on to the 2000s, we have Shaq from 1999 to 2003.
KG
along
right
with
there.
Kevin Garnett right on his tail. D. Wade, Dirk, Chris Paul are all slightly trailing these two legends. LeBron has a peak score of 113.98 from 2009 to 2013.
2009 to 2013. It's pretty much his Miami years. That makes sense. He also played, for the most part, he actually played some defense during that time too. He was good. He as good as he can be when he played for the Heat.
Clearly separating himself from the rest of the stars of that era. James Harden has a really slept-on peak from 2016 to 2020.
It's because it led to nothing. He didn't win. He didn't win crap. At least LeBron got a couple of championships out of that. Even though it was, you know how I feel about that. It was the helicopter to the top of the mountain mentality. But James Harden has also been a part of some super teams, and it's never led to anything. That's why I think you got your one MVP, you'll never get another one. Just like Westbrook, you'll never get another one. But I do hope you get a championship eventually, Russ. I do. Hard-ass worker, man.
Along with Giannis from 2019 to 2023. And finally, to end this chart off,
121.
we have the man of the hour, Nikola Jokic. According to the season score metric, he has the
123. How does it still happen? How does it always happen? I did guess right, though. It was going to be MJ and Jokic. There's nobody else who's that consistent. And Jokic is turning out to be hella consistent. This is not a fluke. This is not an accident. He is this good.
second highest peak in NBA history. I don't think people realize just how good of a basketball player Nikola Jokic has been since 2021. We're witnessing history unfold in real time. But let me ask you a question. If Nikola Jokic was to win not just another regular season MVP, but another ring, where would this put him in all-time rankings?
Yeah.
Would he officially be top 15, top 10, even top 7 or top 8? There's only been 5 NBA players throughout the league's history to ever receive 4 regular season MVPs and 2 finals MVPs. Couple this with the argument...
Hold up. Russell. Wilt. I mean, if we tack on like finals MVPs, I wonder. Most MVPs in NBA history. Man. To me, it's less about if he wins the MVP in the regular season and more about if he wins more rings at this point. 3 MVPs is enough. 4 obviously would get you in better company, but to be in the GOAT conversation, you got to win now. So he's won it once. How many more times can he win it? If he gets up to 3, like he's got a real serious argument as far as like being in the top 15 in my mind. And if he gets up to 4, he's probably going to be in my top 10.
Ever received 4 regular season MVPs and 2 finals MVPs. Couple this with the argument of Jokic's unreal stats.
By the way, look at this pass. I remember watching this live.
2 finals MVPs. Couple this with the argument of Jokic's unreal stats and sky-high peak compared to all NBA legends, and Jokic's all-time ranking could place him dangerously high. If Jokic does these 2 things I mentioned before, we're really gonna have to start comparing him to other bona fide top 10 to 13 players of all time. If Jokic wins MVP and finals MVP this year, what's keeping him below Hakeem Olajuwon? Both players would have 2 rings with relatively weaker supporting casts, while Jokic doesn't quite have the defensive hardware that Olajuwon does with 2 Defensive Player of the Years and 9 All-Defensive teams. Jokic more than makes up for this with 4 MVPs and unreal advanced offensive stats. What would be
the difference is his passing, so it would kind of cancel out. Dream was phenomenal with blocking shots and just straight up defense. The offense is on par to each other, and like as far as scoring goes. And the only thing that Jokic has over him is the passing. So they kind of counterbalance each other. What's Hakeem really have? Well, he did it his whole career, and he won 2 rings. That's the only difference right now. So if Jokic can continue this his whole career, get more than 2 rings, as much as I love Hakeem, Nikola is probably going to be on most people's tier list higher than Hakeem because of that, if he gets 3 championships.
Keeping Nikola Jokic under Wilt Chamberlain. Both players are renowned for their unreal stats. Both players have 4 regular season MVPs and 2 finals MVPs. Would Jokic doing the same thing just in the modern game, a more competitive and talented era, hold more weight for him? What would be keeping Nikola Jokic under Kevin Durant? Nikola Jokic would have by far more challenging and well-earned 2 championships compared to KD's Warrior rings.
It might be a hot take here. I don't have Kevin Durant very high on my all-time list. I don't. The 2 rings he's got, well, he kind of just, hopped in the back of the bus and did his thing. Did he produce? Hell yeah. But he was, he was on the freaking Warriors, dude. Like he was on that team that was just fine without him, winning championships without him. It's not the same. To me, it would be like if Jordan joined like the 2002 Lakers. Like it wouldn't mean that much for his legacy that he won a 7th ring out there, joining that team that already proved that they can do it without you. That's just how I feel about it. KD, one of the greatest offensive players of all time. I'm not trying to diss him, but I got Nikola much higher than I've got Durant right now on my list.
While KD would have the longevity over Jokic, would Jokic's peak simply overpower Durant's consistency? Dare I say, what would keep Jokic under Steph Curry? Well, Curry has the argument of team success, by far. 3 of his 4 rings, he had one of the greatest supporting casts around him of all time, and 2 of his 4 rings, he wasn't even the best player on the team. Both Jokic and Curry would have 2 championships, being the best player on the floor. Similar with
I'd say 2. It's overblown how good his the supporting cast was before KD got there, before and after KD. When they had KD, yeah, it was getting kind of crazy, but without KD, they were just a solid team. We see what Clay looks like away, from the Warriors. Good player. Draymond, he's the enforcer. So like the big three out there is Steph, a really good shooter and on-ball defender. At least he was in Clay. And then you got an enforcer. That's not a stacked team. That is not a super team. But when you add KD, now you've got now you're in that super team department. But no, man, I don't discredit Steph Curry's championships. I really don't.
Kevin Durant. Curry also has the longevity argument, but would Jokic's overwhelming peak be too much for Steph Curry? I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, if he gets like 4 rings. I mean, that's the difference. Steph has won a lot.
This video. Be sure to subscribe and like for more videos like these.
Good video, 80 Buckets. Yeah, that was an awesome video, guys. Go subscribe to Eddie if you enjoyed this. I've been subscribed for a while. What the hell was I talking about? Yeah, how is Steph Curry not higher on most people's list? Because he's got the 4 championships like LeBron does, but he has it with one team. And LeBron is like top 5 for most people, not for me. But for like 90% of the basketball community, LeBron is in their top 5. But Steph is lucky to break their top 10. And I don't understand it. Because in the NBA Finals, Steph Curry has beaten LeBron 3 times in the finals. LeBron has beaten Steph once. So how does this work? You know what I mean? And then you say, oh, well, he had a stacked team. Well, so did LeBron. LeBron's had, he did the big 3 thing out there in Miami, first of all. And then second, to combat the Warriors team, they had a big 3 out there in Cleveland. So, and honestly, dare I say it, Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron, that should have been a bigger big 3 than Draymond, Steph Curry, and Clay and KD. Just my opinion. I think that the big 3 in Cleveland was a bigger monster. But yeah, I'm just always surprised how much Steph gets discredited. And I think it's just because KD went there for those couple of years. Anyways, Jokic, I mean, he's got my MVP vote. He's had it all along. I just figured because of voter fatigue, he's not going to get it. So I've been looking for the next one. But, it reminds me of those years where, like, Karl Malone won an MVP and then, like, Charles Barkley won an MVP because they couldn't just keep giving it to Jordan every year. But then Jordan would punish him in the finals and beat him and take the finals MVP and be like, screw, you can have that one. I'll take this one. I think he even says that in The Last Dance. But anyways, I'm going to tap out with this one. Yeah, I'm not sleeping on Jokic, guys. I'm not. I'm just hoping it can lead to more winning. And we'll see. But this year, I'm kind of rooting. Obviously, I'm rooting for my Suns. And then I'm silently rooting for Denver and also silently rooting for Dallas. I want to see Kyrie win another championship. I really like Kyrie a lot. I love his game. And, as a human, he seems like such a cool, like, just real human being. He makes mistakes. He says some controversial things sometimes, but it's never in a method of hate or attacking anybody. He's just misunderstood a lot. But yeah, those are the teams I got my eye on. I'm curious if Denver can do it again, but we'll see. We'll have to see. It's early in the season. All right, you guys, I'm going to head out. Thanks for watching the video. Like the video on your way out if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And I'll see you later for the next one. See you in the comments, everyone. Peace out.